Anyone who's seen Airbus A380 knows how ridiculously large it is. Certified to carry up to 868 passengers across 2 decks, the aircraft stretches 80 meters, 262 feet from wingtip to wingtip, and 73 meters, 239 feet from nose to tail. But did you know that there's an even larger aircraft lumbering through the skies? The Antonov An-22 cargo lifter is truly one of a kind, as there was only one ever built. Originally built by the Soviets to carry their space shuttle, the gargantuan aircraft is now operated by Ukrainian-based Antonov Airlines for charter cargo flights. Whether you need to get an airliner across a continent without flying it, piggyback a space shuttle to its launch site, or ship Snoopy Dogg's oversized tour stage to Nigeria, you're going to need the world's biggest and strongest aircraft, the Antonov An-22. Before jumping to the aircraft's engineering marvels, let's talk a bit about history. The plane was originally operated between 1988 and 1991 as a prime method of transporting Buran-class orbiters for the Soviet space program. Antonov Airlines was concurrently founded in 1989, after it was set up as a holding company by the Antonov Design Bureau. As a heavy airlift shipping corporation, the company was to be based in Kyiv, Ukraine, and operated from the London Luton Airport in partnership with Airfoil Heavy Lift. While operations began with a fleet of 4 AN-12400s and 3 Antonov's AN-12s, the need for aircraft larger than the AN-124 became apparent by the late 1990s. By this time, the Soviet Union was no longer in existence and the Buran program had been terminated. Because of this, the sole completed An-225 was left unused and without a purpose. As early as 1990, Antonov officials were openly speaking about their ambition for the aircraft to enter commercial use. Despite this, in 1994, it was decided to put the An-225 into long-term storage. During this time, all 6 of its engines were removed for use on various An-124s, while the second uncompleted An-225 airframe was also stored. As the 1990s progressed, it became clear that there was sufficient demand for a cargo liner even bigger than the An-124. Accordingly, it was decided that the first An-225 would be restored. The aircraft was re-engined, received modifications to modernize and better adapted to the heavy cargo transport operations, and placed back in service under the management of Antonov Airlines. It became the workhorse of the Antonov Airlines fleet, transporting objects once thought impossible to move by air, such the 130-ton generators, wind turbine blades, and even diesel locomotives. It also became an asset to international relief organizations for its ability to quickly transport huge quantities of emergency supplies during multiple disaster relief operations. Now that you know about some of the history behind this aviation beast, let's talk about how it appears on the outside. The aircraft stretches 88.4 meters, 290 feet from wingtip to wingtip, and 84 meters, 276 feet from nose to tail. That's 8.4 meters wider than the Airbus A380. The aircraft is powered by 6 Evashenko Progress D18T turbofan engines, 3 on each side. Designed at the end of the Cold War, the An-225 was built as a replacement for the Myashev VMT to carry the Soviet Union's Buran space shuttle between launch and landing sites. The An-225 is based on the earlier An-124 Ruslin. However, it included additional turbofan engines, a reinforced floor, and a stronger 32-wheel landing gear than its predecessor. In all, the An-225 utilizes 6 Progress D18 turbofans, each producing 51,600 lbs of thrust to haul its massive loads of cargo. This massive plane holds the world record for airlifting a single-item payload, a gas-powered station generator weighing 418,834 pounds, and for airlifting a total payload of 559,577 pounds. It is not just the wings that are massive. The horizontal stabilizer itself is 32.65 meters wide. For reference, the Airbus A320 family has a wingspan of 35.8 meters. just narrowly larger than the An-225's horizontal stabilizer. In order to load cargo, the massive nose opens upwards and the tongue-like cargo loading ramp unfurls, revealing the interior of its engineering marvel. For cargo that can be rolled in, the cargo bay has 2 cranes, each capable of lifting 10 tons at a time. With supplementary equipment, the crew can load up to 30 tons of non-mobile cargo at once. Inside, the massive cargo bay measures 43.32 meters long, by 6.4 meters wide, by 4.4 meters tall, for an impressive volume of almost 1,300 cubic meters, by 45,000 cubic feet, by 34,000 gallons. To give you an aviation scale of just how long this cargo bay is, the Wright brothers' first ever flight, 120 feet, is shorter than this cargo bay. As it's not intended for passengers, there aren't many windows in the cargo bay. There are only 4 strategically placed portholes to allow visual inspection of the wings and engines during flight. You have to climb a ladder to get into the cockpit. The gear consists of 32 wheels, 28 in the main gear, as 7 rows of 4, with 4 wheels in the nose gear. And with that many wheels and being the only aircraft of its type, Antonov Airlines makes sure to carry spare wheels. While it is an incredibly impressive machine, the An-225 doesn't exactly have a modern cockpit. 6 cockpit crews are required to operate the behemoth. 2 pilots and 4 engineers. As on many aircraft, the pilots steer by the yoke. In a cabin behind the cockpit, pilots and flight crew have 6 bunks for rest. There are too many cabins with 2 stationary bunks and 1 bunk that can fold down over a table. While there's a crew of 6 that is required in the cockpit, there are even more crews that are needed to operate the cargo transporter. In total, 19 or 20 crew members travel full-time with the An-225. These non-flight crew members have a dedicated cabin and rest area accessible through a tight staircase in the tail. Inside, there are 20 economy-style crew seats arranged in the 2 to 3 settings arrangement. The pilot rest area is separated from the crew rest area by an avionics bay, meaning the only way to get from this crew area to the cockpit is to go through the cargo bay. Soon, the An-225 reigns as the world's largest operating aircraft will come to an end, with the official launch of the 6-turbine 385-foot-wide Stratolaunch, which is currently under testing. However, the An-225 will be the first in cargo capacity, and in the hearts of so many aviation geeks. On this note, we will end this video. If you found it interesting, please tap the like button and subscribe to our channel, as this keeps us motivated to produce more content for you in the future.